So with EVA 47, as was mentioned, Sabo is going to be EV1. He is going to be wearing the red stripes, and Maker is going to be EV2 in the white stripes. So first they're going to head off. EV1 is going to be going to ESP2, and essentially they're going to be at ESP2 for this entire EVA. We see him translating to the work site, and he's going to be getting a foot restraint that he's going to be in. In the meantime, Maker is going to get another foot restraint and is going to be meeting him at this work site. So at ESP2 is where we have our spare Lee. You can see this in the screen here. It is on a flight support equipment pallet. There's some prep work that needs to get done before we can install it onto the arm. So there's some MLI that needed to remove some blanket coverings. It's also secured in a parallel position by some clamps. You can see them here in the diagram. There's 4 clamps on this. The crew will need to release all 4 of them. The video is just going to be showing 2 that are released. So once those clamps are released, this Lee is going to be pivoted up to the vertical position, just like that. Okay, there's a little bit more prep work that the crew is going to do at this point. There are some bolts that have that secured in place. We call them expandable diameter fasteners, EDFs. And I have an EDF here, actually, so if you'd like to pause the video, I'll go ahead and just show you those. We are going to be working with these expandable diameter fasteners throughout the entire EVA. It's a great piece of hardware, so it's essentially a bolt, but if you see it, there's no screws on it. So what happens is there's a post that these are going to be inserted into, and the crew members are going to be using their drill to drive these bolts. And what happens are these collets just expand, and that's how it's secured into place there. So it's very refined, and there are 6 of them that are on the Lees themselves. So we'll be talking about EDFs throughout this entire 2 spacewalks. Okay, you can go ahead with the video. So that's just some prep work that they're doing on that spare Lee. Once it's prepared, they're going to go ahead and bring Lee B down and work on removing those EDFs. Again, there's 6 of them. So once those are removed, they're going to release the Lee from the end of the robotic arm. Once it is released, Sabo is going to be holding on to this Lee, and the crew is going to work together to get into position to install it on the temp stow ring, which was on that flight support equipment. And so right here you can see this is the spare Lee, and they're going to be putting that Lee that was just removed from the robotic arm in this temp stow ring, and it's going to stay there in between EVAs. They also need to swap cameras. There's a camera on the arm, but not on the spare Lee. So they're going to swap the cameras and then remove the spare Lee from that FSC. Again, work together to maneuver themselves to get back into a position to install the Lee back on the end of the arm. So at the end of the first EVA, we will have Lee B, the end of the SSRMS, functional. And as I mentioned, we are going to be temp stowing that other Lee in between EVAs, and we'll be able to finish our whole rotation process at the end of EVA 2. So once that's complete, that's the primary objectives of the EVA. If we do have some time at the end, we do have some get-aheads that we could do. And that would be before both crew members head back to the airlock.